spent my first 15 years trying to get out of the woods because I thought it was horrible. And I spent the next 20 years trying to get back. The truth of the matter is we need to be well-rounded individuals like our forefathers were.
Oh man, it is good to be back in this seat, hanging out with all y'all folks. We have missed you, of course. In the house, my man Patrick Seven, my people, my dude Joey. It's like I just saw you just a couple days ago, Joey. And Nancy, hello from northern New Jersey. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. So, man, what have we been doing? Back in the saddle. You know the song. Back here on the homestead, 500 something chickens and turkeys running around. But it's good to be back. Back in the saddle again. Oh yeah, here we go. Man, that's a song I haven't heard in a long time. You know, and he always had that thing. It was like, yeah. Oh, all right, that's enough of that. I don't know what's wrong with me, man. I'm all fired up. Ready to go. Man, there's my man, Tom Bryce. There's Sandra. There's the Russ man, the Russ of Oz tuning in. Just hung out with all these awesome people. There's Mr. Tripp. What's going on? He's been out in the West himself running around. That's why he couldn't join us at Mountain Readiness West. So for all you folks, you know, we were out west. We were in Montana, Swan Lake. We were doing all the things. Turned out to be a great event. Awesome weather. Got to hang out with 3 of my 4 children that are all grown up and my 2 grandsons. So we ended up, great show, awesome instructors. One of them is presently backstage with us now, who was there teaching. And it was just overall, I mean, now I would tell you this, guys, this place is remote AF. I'm not even lying. This place is out. I think it was like an hour just to get to a gas station, but that's okay. You know, made it more. It was about the experience. So we were out there. Hey, there's Andrew Degenhart. What's going on, man? Haven't seen you for a bit, and I appreciate those photos. Were quite awesome, and they just don't give it justice, to be completely honest. That Glacier National Park was off the hook. And even locally around Swan Lake area, a lot of those pictures were while I was driving in. So it was very cool. It was an awesome experience. And we met a ton of phenomenally cool people. I got to say, it was worth the trip. Of course, just to hang out with the kids and the grandkids was a great thing. But then you throw in all the new people that we've got to meet. And it just made for an awesome weekend. So we had a blast. 41-hour drive out there and back. Kind of sucked, not going to lie. But it was worth the trip. That trip back, man, I ain't even lying. I got out the truck after, I had 2 days to get back because we had so much stuff going on. And when I stepped out of the truck, it was like I just did my first week in federal penitentiary, man. My backside was hurt. Not going to lie. It was brutal, but we had a good time. And, of course, we're not done having a good time because we have all this awesome stuff that is still coming up in the near future. So as always, this episode is brought to you by the Sovereign Health Summit. Sovereign Health Summit, October the 27th through the 31st in Harmony, North Carolina at the Van Hoy Family Campground. Look here, y'all. If you're looking to get your health in check, this is the place to be. And here's the cool part, is that if you are going to attend the Sovereign Health Summit, then we are going to comp you 100% free, exception of the camping, for Fallout. All right? It's free. You can actually go to Mountain Readiness, scroll down to the Fallout, which Fallout, of course, is October the 25th through the 31st. And there is a spot on there that says, basically Sovereign Health Summit free ticket. All you have to do is click that, get your ticket. When you come to Mountain Readiness Fallout, you'll present that to us. We'll verify that you got your ticket to the Sovereign Health Summit, and bam, you're covered. Zero, no charge whatsoever. So think about that. We just want you guys to have the full spectrum of what we are offering here. But that week with the Sovereign Health Summit is going to be off the hook. If you've not scanned that code yet, get on there and check these speakers out, because we're not just delving into the realm of circadian health, alternative health, things like this. We've got like Matt with Cultivate Elevate. We've got Dr. Henry Ely. We've got AJ Richards from The Farm, which is out there in the West as well, right out there in Montana, who is fighting for food sovereignty. He is in DC every other week, out there with RFK, all these guys, and you can do them both. And one of them you don't even have to pay a dime for if you do the other. So that's what we got right there. What else do we have here? Comments, Tom, my man Tom. Yep, Joey, everybody's in here. Guys, if you have questions tonight, let's do hashtag Bill. I don't have it up on the screen because the Russ man is still on vacation, cruising around the United States, having a good time, drinking really fine bourbon with our man Tom Bryce out there. And I will tell you, Tom knows how to party, man. Tom knows how to party. Just going to tell you that right now. The guy, the double bourbon, I'm here to tell you, is on point. So, but don't hang out with them old guys too much, man. You can't hang with them if you're a young pup. So appreciate all you guys in the house. What else did we have? I think that was it. I believe that was all we had for tonight. Yeah, Sovereign Health Summit, Fallout coming up. An awesome time cruising all over the place. And now we're back here. So doing the things. We've got a bunch of chickens to process tomorrow. Any of y'all feel the need to get your hands up the backside of a chicken, man, hit us up. Hit us up. Come on over tomorrow. We got 100 of them we got to knock out. And you know as well as I do, if you ain't doing the things, right, you're not really getting prepared. So you got to get your hands dirty sometimes. What else here? So he's a party animal. Yes, he is. Man, Tom and Russ both, man. You got to watch those guys. They'll put you in a bad spot if you don't watch it. So yes, use Bill. Thank you. So hashtag Bill for questions tonight. But let's get this party started, man. I'm going to bring this guy out here. This is Bill Reese, Instinctive Survivalist. Has an awesome YouTube as well. And isn't just like the run-of-the-mill videos like sometimes I post, just some stupid crap just to keep the algorithm rolling. We actually have every one of the videos that I've watched thus far on YouTube that you put out, Bill, has some actual value to it. You try to push something for people to learn. So first, welcome to the show tonight, Bill. I appreciate you being a part of this, man.
I appreciate you having me, T. It's definitely a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. And so, guys, scan that QR code and give Bill some love over there on his YouTube channel. Now, you're on Facebook as well and Instagram, I think.
That's
but
correct.
most of your videos is going up on YouTube, correct?
Correct. Yeah, that's the main hub for everything.
Exactly. And it's good stuff, guys. So click that thing right there and like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. You're actually going to get some schooling. So I always do an intro, and this is the only thing that I write down so I don't screw it all up. But Bill Reese, Instinctive Survivalist, raised in the eastern Woodlands, and I guess it's not South Georgia. It was actually Bama that you were raised, and you just drifted in to the Georgia swamp area. Bill has turned a lifetime of wilderness experience into a passion for teaching survival, emergency medicine, and preparedness. Today, he shares those skills from Montana through classes and his YouTube channel, Instinct Survivalist Wilderness Skills. Welcome to the show. I always wanted to say that. Like I watched Sean Ryan, and he's like, welcome to the show. You know,
to the show.
so
Yeah,
welcome to the
exactly.
show. You know, sitting around there with all of his bourbon and stuff up on the wall. But first off, Bill, for everybody here, some people like Joey here, she was at the thing. Patrick didn't make it. Shame on you, Patrick. But hopefully we'll see you in October. You know, some people haven't heard a lot about you. So let's start off with you know, just kind of where you grew up and how you ended up where you're at today.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of a crazy story, I guess. I started off in Japan. I was born in Tokyo, Japan.
Wow. Okay.
Want to be next to my mom. So then we flew over to Massachusetts and lived in Boston for a while. And then, okay, let's see as we get older what else we can do. And from my perspective, there was a lot of, hey, let's try primitive skills. Hey, let's try camping. Hey, let's try this. Hey, let's try that. And it was a lot of learning, trial by fire, so to speak. And then a lot of people ask where the name came from, Instinct Survivalist. And that actually comes down to a story where we pulled into the swamps. We had family farmland down in Blakely, Georgia. And part of it was on the swamp. And long story short, I'll try to make it kind of brief, is got to the point where we were supposed to get out and hunt. Dad always made this thing of when we stop, you get out, let's go. And apparently that day he had his fill and he got out and went, and I was still in the truck, couldn't find him. Got out of the truck, started looking for him. Probably about 10, 12 years old, somewhere in there. Went hunting around, looking around and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do what I knew, right? Which was, I'm looking at footprints. I'm looking at, at markings. I'm looking at different signs of tracking. And then realized that he'd gone actually through the swamp. So I looked at swipe marks and foot or boot print marks across the top of some stumps and things of that nature. I don't know, about an hour later, I came out on the other side of the swamp, and I was probably about 20 feet away from him. And he looks at me just kind of, baffled. And he goes, how did you do that? I said, just use my instincts, Dad.
That's it. You sure he didn't just wander off and leave you there by yourself on purpose? Because that's how my old man was. He was
that's the debate, right?
He was that sink or swim guy. It's like, oh, you want to learn how to swim, son? Bam, threw on the water. Come on, paddle. Keep on paddling, boy. You ain't gonna make it.
You ain't gonna make it. Put some dimes in your pocket next time, bud.
That's it. That's
the thing. I don't know. I don't know. And every time I ask him about it, he goes, I don't remember any of that. I'm like, okay. So,
of course not. That's how it works. What does survival look like compared to the swamps to where you're at currently in Montana? Because man, that's a 180 degree in the opposite direction.
It is. I mean, I always wanted to get out here to Montana because of books that I read my grandfather would put aside or whatever. And so I guess the difference is I could walk around, knew to look for snakes, knew to look for, different materials, different trees. I will say the fat wood from a tree out of Georgia is a lot different than the fat wood out of trees from here. It's much better.
I bet. Right. Okay. The sleeping was phenomenal, though. I will say that. Hot all day and then lay down, and then it's just I'll snuggle up in the sleeping bag, and I was in heaven, man. That's 40, 50 degrees for night is where my happy spot is. So, but let's get back to it. So South, Alabama, South Georgia, which we had that conversation off camera here. Y'all, if you've never been down to like South Georgia, Alabama line, that is a different type of hot. And I've lived in Louisiana. I've got family all on my mother's side, Pineville, Alexandria, South Georgia, Alabama. That's the worst. Like I've never been in a hotter place. Mississippi was not much better. I will say that.
I agree. Especially
oh yeah. Oh man. And then that Natchez Trace, like who decided that was a good idea to have a road that goes on forever and there's state troopers parked off of it all the way down and you can't speed because these guys ain't got nothing better to do. And you better fill up at the gas station before you hit that thing or you're done. And I'm sure tow service out there is going to be a pretty penny. But, so you're down there in that area. So you're getting into the survival skills. Your dad left you out there by yourself just to see how you go, because I'm going with that. I think that's how that went down.
I can probably roll that way, no problem.
So let's talk about what happened from there, and then kind of how did you as far as your job, like what has been your livelihood as you've went through this transition to where you're at now.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with that. Is for a while I was working for a utilities company. So down there it was United Cities Gas. They got bought out and things like that. And I was doing engineering work. Worked in the field for a while. So I was digging ditches, going in, dealing with pipes and natural gas pipes. Got pinned down a couple of times with heavy flames, just pinning me underneath the whole header and everything. And that was interesting. I didn't tell my wife about that until way long time later.
Yeah, leave that part out.
Exactly. And then somebody decided that they'd pay for me to go to school if I would move to Atlanta, because that was the thing to do. But they would not just pay for me to go to school, but they would also double my salary. And at that point I had a brand new kid, and I'm like, wait, like for real? So I did. Lived in Richardson, Texas for 9 months to go to school, and then stayed in Atlanta, worked there, and then every place after that just kept doubling salary. So that was good. So my livelihood has been in technology for a long time. Still is kind of. I work now for a security platform, video security platform, where we're actually the manufacturer of this video security system. And before I got to this, though, that's kind of the transition was, I lost my job, corporate America. They like to do reduction in forces. I got caught up in one after missing 22 of them. So that was, good. But then got caught up with one in 2024. Luckily, I was working part-time at a hospital here in Montana, and I was doing security work as well as being an EMT. And just went and said, okay, well, I guess that's full-time job now. And so I picked up every shift I could just to make sure that family was fed, make sure the bills were paid, make sure I was doing, what needed to be done. We'll just say that it took a toll on me, but it gave me a lot of experience. So I was, hands-on with all of the emergency stuff. I dealt with the traumas. We were a level 1 trauma center. And so they would fly in, bring life flights in. We had one from Swan Lake before I left that they helicoptered them in. We'd go and unload them, bring them into the emergency room, deal with whatever the trauma is. If something didn't need to be done on the way from the helipad down into the trauma bay, then good. But if it did, then we were on staff to not just escort and be security, but also to deal with it from an EMT perspective. So it was a lot of hands-on stuff, and a lot of things that a lot of people be like, no, I don't want to see that. So.
Right. I was a firefighter for almost 5 years, and it takes a different type of person to deal with some of the stuff that you see. There's no doubt. It's a different world. I loved it though. I loved working with fire and rescue. We did a lot of heavy extrication where we lived. I was outside of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it was awesome because our department was all of the captains and chief and everybody were all full-time firefighters for Fort Wayne. So we were getting a very next level training compared to most, volunteer departments. And so, but it was awesome. It takes you got to have a little bit of inner fortitude some days when you see that kind of stuff, but you get used to it. I mean, I wouldn't say you get used to it, but you learn to cope with it, for the most part. Man, can I pick your brain a little bit, Bill? Because you being in the technology and staying in the security camera realm, Like, where are we at with these flock camera stuff? I mean, what do you know about this stuff? I've got to ask because, man, I hear so much stuff about driving under them, and it's sucking up all my text messages and, pulling stuff off the car and analyzing, actually doing a profile of the vehicle. I mean, how deep is the rabbit hole on this flock camera technology stuff?
So it's funny, it's now hit big. And so we hear a lot about it, but it was before I left Atlanta, 8 years ago, Gwinnett County or Cobb County, actually had cameras that could shoot through the garage door, read your tag, and see whether it was legit or not. And so
hold up, and this was 8 years ago?
This was 8 years ago.
And it could go through the garage door.
It could go through the garage door. It would actually, it could actually go in and tell you all the thermal mass that's inside the house. It could tell you where the hot spots were, and they were using it for meth houses and things like that as well. So I mean, yeah, that was 8
I mean,
years
how
ago.
is it? I gotta ask, because man, Bill, I am a freaking Neanderthal, bro. Like when it comes to technology, it took me 4 years just to be able to do this right here. And it's just clicking buttons. I mean, it's not even that hard, so when when you had your mic muted off camera, well, I was like, oh no, I don't even know what to tell Bill. We're screwed. I mean, that's where I'm at with technology. But I mean, how are they reading through a freaking garage door? How does that even work?
So it depends on the chip that's in there. So everybody knows that you got to have a computer chip to do something. In that chip, I agree with that.
I agree, Russ,
right
man. Oh, and that's actually Teresa. I agree, Teresa and Russ. So
totally agree. That's right. Yeah. So there's that. So a lot of it has to do with the computer chips and what it can analyze nowadays, especially with the new stuff. They've also implemented the chip, what it can do, what it can analyze, and then add AI on top of that. And regardless of what you think about AI, I'm sure you got folks commenting on those as well. But the reality is that combine the two together, it's looking at analytical information and data. So you talk about passing under, what is it looking at? It's monitoring everything depending upon the camera. It can monitor, number one, bodies, right? That's the first thing. Number two, it's looking at objects. Do you have any firearms in your vehicle? Number three is, do you have any firearms on you? Is there a black mass that is somewhere in your vehicle that should not be there? Same when you're looking at, a lot of the ones they were trying to do here in Montana, especially in the nearest city here, which was Missoula. They actually turned them on and was going to be able to spot through backpacks unless you had, a shielded backpack. And I know that Brian was actually talking about those at Mountain Readiness West. He was talking about, no, this is a shield. No big deal. Line your stuff with aluminum foil. That'll help. But right. Yeah, there's some things they're trying to get through and get done.
So, I heard it's been quite a while back, and I don't want to take away from speaking with you, but because you live in this realm and there's so much stuff out here on the internet, you know how this goes, it's always, 500 different stories, and who knows anymore right. With the way the AI controls everything of YouTube and Facebook and all this stuff, I've been seeing videos I've watched and halfway through it, I'm like, this isn't a real person. It's getting so hard. I don't even know who's real people anymore or not, And so, but I was reading something here. It's been a good year or so ago, and they were talking about how Wi-Fi, they were utilizing Wi-Fi to actually give three-dimensional layout of interiors of like your home, things of that nature, and of course utilizing it also for voice, to where they could actually hear and see everything within the home or building if it had Wi-Fi that was being utilized. I mean, is that accurate, one? And is that how that camera could see a license plate inside a garage through a door?
So I don't know. I'm going to give you the short answer of I don't know. I don't think that that's too far out of a realm, but that is one of the reasons why when I talk to people about their Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi setups, I'm like, make sure the passwords are set, make sure you've got them double set, the whole 9 yards. Don't go through and just say, okay, I've got a router now. Let me turn that on and be done. Same with Starlink, Starlink Minis. The list goes on. Make sure you put your passwords in there. I don't know to the level or to the depth in which that plays, if you will. I don't think it's far-fetched, though.
Let me ask you this. As far as, because when I do these events, when I first started Mountain Readiness, I was like, yes, I'm going to learn so much from all these awesome people. And I don't. I just clean toilets and stuff. So I have to do stuff like this afterwards to actually catch up on any of these classes. So I didn't catch that class with Brian. And the sad part is we talking about Brian Duff with Mind for Survival? Is that who you're talking, or who did that class? I can't remember.
It was the Survival BSO. Is it Brian?
Oh yeah, Brian Loftus. Brian Loftus.
I think it is.
Gotcha. So I mean, what would be the best thing to use to shield? I mean, aluminum foil, yeah, but not so much. That'd make you look completely batshit crazy. I mean, with aluminum all over the top of my car, and but I mean, what is the best? I mean, what is the best thing to utilize as far as shielding for this type of a purpose?
So I don't know that there's anything that's ideal. I would say, if we're looking at anything from an aluminum sheet, a lot of folks are actually using, the name escapes me. It's the silver insulation that you can actually put as a reflector in your car window.
Like the bubble stuff has the foil on both sides with the little bubble wrap thing in it. Oh, okay.
You can use that because it reflects off. It's not a, I'll say I saw aluminum foil. I didn't read the rest of it.
He was talking about aluminum foil hats here for sure. You got to watch these guys, man. We got a rowdy crowd that comes in here at any given time. There's a
video. I could say there's probably a video online that actually has a guy wearing a tinfoil hat. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, they're around.
Well, no,
yeah, I mean, I can just see the whole inside of my truck. I'll just aluminum everywhere, and then just have a little slit cut out. It looks like a gun port or something where I can drive. I'm sure that'd go over good.
Mad Max with aluminum. It's great.
So, just to wrap up on the flock camera thing. So this thing, is just basically you're pretty much so screwed. It's analyzing everything that is visible, and some things doesn't even have to be visible because it's actually seeing through it.
Right. That's the unfortunate part about it, and that's one of the reasons why there's such a anti-flock camera group out there. I don't blame them. I'm with them. 100% with them.
Amen to that.
And then that's why a lot of the cities they're taking and saying, wait. They're pulling them down because not only are they doing that, but they're using that information for their own personal gain versus what it was meant for. And a lot of other people are going, now, wait a minute, how is it getting all this other information? So same questions you were asking, T, is how is it getting all this other information? How's it doing this? And the folks at Flock know, but not everybody else.
Right. Yeah, that third party company. That's just looking at everybody's stuff. I was watching a thing over in China, and it was very interesting and very scary because this has been a couple years ago. This gentleman, he worked for a newspaper. He messed up and did an article on some politician over there that made him upset. And the next thing you know, his credit card was locked. His accounts were locked. Everything was shut down. This guy could not even purchase a ticket for a bus ride or a train ride. Like, he's literally homeless, no car, no house, no money, panhandling. And the guy, he just spoke the truth, or not to just say the truth, but he expressed his freedom of speech, and that don't happen in communist China. And so, but he was even talking about how they will post your picture. If you get caught jaywalking over in China, He was saying that they will post your picture. They've got these big LCD screens all over the neighborhoods and stuff. They will post you up and basically shame you it to your neighborhood, so all your neighbors know you got in trouble. And he was saying that the cameras, you know, facial recognition is just a small part of it, that it's body recognition. And so even if you're wearing a disguise or anything, it can, if you walk with a limp, it knows it's you. You know, and I was like, well, that sucks. You know, I thought I could just shave this beard off and I'd be incognito, but
it appears that's part, it's looking at this part, looking where the frame is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. That's nuts. What does Sandra say? Get aluminum at the pet store for free. How do you get that? Oh, for the fish to throw away. I don't know. I'm not going to do the aluminum thing. I think I'm going to go for a different route here. I also was seeing some things with, what do they call them, where you put your phone into them, the little bags.
Bags.
Yeah. And, but now, you know, they're talking about rolling out, there you go. Well, now that you're talking about getting ready to start rolling out 6G, and I'm hearing that 6G is so strong that everything that we currently have on the market is going to have to be upgraded in order to shield everything off. So, I mean, what do you is that accurate?
I don't know. That's one I have not gone deep enough with 6G yet. I do remember when we switched over to 5G, just the things that had to change for that. So again, is it far-fetched? Probably not.
Right. Faraday bag. Thanks, there we go. Thank you, Patrick. Man, Patrick knows everything, man. Yeah, he said you should put a AR 500 steel plate in your bag. I would, and you should, but then it makes me tired when I walk for long distances, you know. So I've actually I've got some of them soft armor slip-in pads that seems to hold up. And what did Limey say? Wear a burqa. Maybe. I don't know how that would actually look. I know Patrick had a question up here. Where did it go? I miss Russ, man, because he always flags these for me. There we go. Bill, do you ever mess with pen testing equipment and gadgets? I've been using a Marauder built on, I have no idea what your Ward Drive flock. What? No. I don't even know what that means.
No, I actually have people that do that for me. I don't do it.
That's the spirit.
No,
you got to just have the right friends.
That does that behind the scenes in our engineering group that does that at the company I work with.
And then he also asked if you were on Twitter, and you're on X, aren't you? Yeah, because you just
Survivalist.
Yep, iSurvivalist, Patrick. Yep. And if you check out my post I did this morning for tonight's live, he reshared that thing and posted up too. Yep. So you can find him right there. Jump on. We got a bunch of X people out here, X/Twitter, whatever we're gonna call it.
That's where I started. Yeah, I'm back on it, so that's good.
Yeah, I just got on X, and I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook and Instagram and this and that, and it's just, and you got to post on this one a certain way and this one on that, and YouTube it's a certain film, and it just drives me nuts. And so I got on X about 6-8 months ago. Man, I still have not figured out how to use X. People will comment, like Patrick all the time. He'll make a comment, and for some reason I can't click and see the comment. You just see the original post. You just see this random comment, and I'll be like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about, man. I'm still struggling, guys. So if I don't always shout out back to you, it's because I just don't know. And we have the lovely Jax Janega in the house.
Jax, what's up? Don't you swing by Mountain Readiness West?
That's right. Give her a hard time, Bill, because she told me the same thing, and then I threw it out there to all the different people.
The grapevine she was.
Yeah, and then I called her on my way back. I was like, Jax, you were very missed. Everybody was super excited to see you, and you were a no-show. So, but remember also though that this October, for all you guys who didn't get your Jax fix, she'll be there at Mountain Readiness Fallout teaching, and she's actually going to be putting together some sweet classes we just talked about last night. It's going to be cool. So make sure, wait a second, I hit the wrong one. There we go. Sorry I couldn't make it. I'm actually in Montana down by the river now. Well, you could at least swing by and say hi to Reese. You know, you didn't say hi to us. Yeah, you didn't say hi to us, but you at least, say hi to Reese since you're there. So, and we got Karen Weatherman in the house. How are you doing, Karen? Glad you could jump in with us. Enjoyed hanging out with your son, the Angery American, for anybody who didn't know who that was. I'm sure most do. So let's get back to it. We got into the weeds all over the place, man. Tinfoil and all kinds of craziness. So you did the things. You traveled around. It sounds like the same as me. You have some gypsy blood. State to state. You'd even popped up Atlanta, so you're living in Atlanta, and then you're back and forth to Japan. So how did we end up, kind of where we're at today?
Yeah, it was one of those things where we were looking in North Georgia, North Alabama for some property. Definitely the mountains, period. I like the ocean, but that's just not me.
No.
And so we were looking and looking and looking. And I grew up reading Louis L'Amour, books about trappers, reading books about the West. And it was one of those that as a kid, I always wanted to come out to Montana. So flippantly with my wife, I said, well, we could always move to Montana. And she goes, no. I went, oh, okay. But at the same time, I had an event that I was going to in Idaho, for a week. And I said, I tell you what, why don't you fly into Missoula? We'll stay in Montana for a week. We'll go, up and down, just looking around. Nothing to do. We're just looking. We're just looking at the mountains because I've always wanted to go. She's like, okay, fine. So her and my daughter flew in. I got finished with my deal in Idaho, came up and got into the vehicle. We drove up and down, even looked at some houses, some different things there, just different areas. Love the upper northwest part. And then we were like, okay, trip's over. So we get back in the Jeep and driving back to Atlanta, and we're not even, I'll just put it in distance wise, from Missoula to Bozeman's 3 hours. Butte is in the middle of that. We weren't even to Butte. Butte was an hour and a half away, and we weren't even there. And she turns to me, tears in her eyes. She goes, oh, we're moving to Montana. And I stopped the vehicle. I said, don't toy with me. She goes, yes, done.
Bam.
So we spent a year getting stuff ready back in Georgia, and then literally put everything we had in a U-Haul and drove up. No place to live, no place to stay, because you can't rent or buy without having eyes on in Montana. And
gotcha.
I'm like, okay, so we drove up. We stayed at the My Place Hotel for extended stay. We were there for 2 weeks. 1 week of that, I was back in DC because I was dealing with federal contracts for the company I was working for. And you're spot on there. Northwest Montana is absolutely gorgeous. But I was back in DC and was dealing with federal contracts. I get a call, and she goes, I think I found a place for us to live. It's a rental. I'm like, okay, cool. So I flew home, met the guy, didn't even go back to the hotel, passed the hotel, came to the property I'm at right now, and met the guy, and he was like, yep, you're going to move in. And I went, wait, dude, I haven't even looked at the place. He goes, you're moving in. And I went, buddy, I don't know you. I don't know anything. Let me look. And so he took me as a tour around, but he stopped before we got into the house. We stopped at the edge of the driveway and looked down the property. It's about 2 acres worth of property, and flat out, it's on the river, on the Blackfoot River. Just beautiful. Did a 360 turn, and it was, you got Rattlesnake Wilderness on one side, Lolo National Forest on the other side, the river in the middle, and then us and a couple of neighbors. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we're there. And
right. And there's nothing wrong with having an abundance of apex predators, Doug.
No.
We have quite a few of those around myself here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. So let's talk about some of the classes and the things that you teach, because, of course, our mutual acquaintance, our friend there, Mark DeJean with Off-Grid Medic, introduced us, and big thanks to you. Mark was supposed to be tuning in. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just not chatting. So throw us a comment up there if you're out there in the comments there, Mark, in social media land. But it was awesome that he introduced us. But you learned a lot of medical. You were taking classes from Mark. Is that correct? And then kind of was like, man, maybe I can do this as well. Is that how that went down?
He kind of tailored what I already knew. So my mom was a nurse, and as a single mom, the only study partner she had was me. So I was her study partner, and that's where I started learning. Grew up doing, football manager. I'm tending to sprains, strains, breaks, things like that as I was growing up. Ended up coaching soccer. There he is.
There he is, the man. Thanks for jumping on there, Mr. Mark.
Ended up coaching soccer, coaching softball, and dealing with the medical emergencies there. And the softball was a bunch of girls, so we had extra emergencies that,
right.
The extra emergencies. But one of them was girl slid into second base and literally took and dislocated everything. So her ankle popped out, turned sideways, a lot of fun stuff. And so I had to deal with that. Now fast forward into the realm of Off-Grid Medic. I came up and I said, hey, look, you're teaching this class I'd like to attend. What do you need from me? He says, nothing. It's like, cool. Well, other than to pay. It's Jenny. Hey, Jenny. So took the WFA class, and I went, you got something more, because this is kind of basic. And he goes, well, yeah, I'm teaching a wilderness first responder class. You want to take that? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I took that class, and I went, yeah, there's got to be more to this. He goes, then get your EMT. And I went, oh yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm not riding in the back of an ambulance. Not going to happen. Not no way, not no how. I said, what if I just helped you teach? I was like, okay, we can do that. Well, help teach in Georgia and over in South Carolina and all. Got over to Montana, and I went, no, there's got to be more. And he goes, then get your EMT. I was like, okay. So I did. Then I worked for the hospital, and then started studying even deeper to try to get into the wilderness medicine from an EMT perspective, and just kind of went from there. So that is, yes, I credit Mark to pushing my butt. I'll use that word to the direction that I'm in. So
that's not a bad thing. Now you have a pretty wide range of classes that you're doing too, because you're doing wilderness first aid, wilderness skills. I mean, what's kind of your specialty niche that you teach?
I think I'll say the top two is wilderness skills. When we look at survival, is probably the brand you put on survival and bushcraft. And then outside of that, it is wilderness medicine. It's being able to use sticks and string as opposed to using the big ambulance or the big backpacks full of gear. That's all this medical stuff that you don't need to carry or can't carry or what have you. I will say, when I use some of those thought patterns with some of the classes that we had this past weekend, it was you could see the faces light up. It was like, wait, what now? You can do that? Yes, you can do that. Because I go out, I carry very minimal gear. It fits, in a pack like this for me and a pack like this for everybody else. And I'm there. That's it. I'm done. I'll save your butt the best I can. So,
right. Well, it doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to work. No. Right. So, I know you get into the, for lack of better terms, bushcraft and survival and things like that. But, I think people confuse those two. They try to combine them. And to me, I feel like there's a huge difference between bushcraft and survival. Like,
Agreed.
I mean, would you agree with that? I mean,
100% agree.
give us the example. You know, for me, like rubbing sticks together, like that's like you're in a really bad place if you got to that point in your survival time. You know, I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
So it is. It's bushcraft to me is one of those where you can use some of the bushcraft skills if you're going to be there for an extended time, but it's designed to I'll just say make your path easier or comfortable while you're in the woods. That's bushcrafting. Survival is, hey man, I got nothing, or I'm at a loss, or I'm lost and I don't know what to do, where to go, how to do. I'm going to die right here. That's the main difference, in my opinion. One extends your life, and one is I'm going to die.
Right. Yeah, and then rubbing sticks together. If you're that point, you're probably going to die. By the way, guys.
Well, unless you're in the fire class that I taught.
Now that I'm well, you know, I just talked about that, Bill. I missed it.
Yeah.
I missed that class. You know, so I'm actually you know, Mark is talking about doing a class out here after we wrap up these events, doing one of those, 5 or 7 day gigs, you know,
Wilderness first responder.
Yeah. Bring the chopper in and the whole bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm there. Like I can do that. I don't know about driving 41 hours back out that direction, but you know, that's in my backyard. So I might have to check that out as well. Gear wise, like what are you packing out there with you? I mean, you know, how much, man, when it comes to medical, you know, I've got tons of IFAKs and, you know, I even have a suture stapler. You know, I probably shouldn't use it, to be completely honest. You know, it's better to have it and not need it. But at the same time, I would never staple someone up unless it was just really, really necessary. But, you know, what is kind of your go-to pack, you know, that kit that you're talking about? What does that consist of?
So it is. I had to relearn what a SAM splint does when I was working at the hospital because I don't carry one, and I got a lot of flack for that when I did the splints class. They're like, "Wait a minute, you don't carry a SAM splint, but you have 4," and I'm like, "Yeah, there's a difference." So no, I do not carry a SAM splint. However, I do carry my knife, of course. I carry 2 tourniquets. While you can go in and make one, you can make a makeshift one. The problem is that takes time, takes resources. If I have a tourniquet, it doesn't weigh that much, and I know it's good gear. It's going to work. So that's one of my, you know, if I'm going to purchase a piece of gear, it's going to be that, and then my knife. Those are the 2 main things. But in my kit, I usually carry the 1-inch Gorilla duct tape. I'll stop reading.
Yeah, don't read. I have to throw these up. It is when you do a few hundred of these, Bill, it gets way easier, but it is big distracting.
Carrying a big soap basket stuff. So those are the main ones. Again, I'll carry 4x4 galls, usually 2 packs of that, 2 packs of 2x2 galls, and then 3 or 4 packs of rolled galls. Outside of that, not too much different. I don't carry anything majorly extra. I'm trying to think deep into my brain, but I don't think I carry anything extra other than that. An OPA. I carry an oral pharyngeal airway because I know how to use it. That's the different part.
Right.
So if I have to deal with airway, then I do throw that in there, but it's a piece of plastic that's this long and it doesn't weigh anything.
Right.
So that, and then
my wife explained those to me. Yeah, and a shamog. Now that's, you know, shamog and duck and the Gorilla tape.
Yeah.
That there is, man, you can fix a lot of stuff with those 2 items.
Between that and then another probably about 100 foot of paracord.
Yeah. Oh yeah, paracord as well. Paracord. Now my wife, she was 3-time combat vet. She did 2 Purple Hearts, Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, 8 years in the desert, did 6 years LEO, and then 2 years as a magistrate. And then I was like, man, 10 back surgeries later, it's time for you to quit fighting bad guys, So now she wrangles chickens and turkeys and stuff. So, but she was talking about the airway tube, and I was like, man, how you put this thing in? She's like, man, you just slobber on it and shove it down in there. And I was like, what, are you serious? She's like, look, you're in a combat zone. My spit is the last thing you need to be worrying about. And so, I know that's not the correct way, but overseas deployed, I guess that's how that went down.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, I think there's somebody that's listening that would actually probably agree with that as well.
Yep. She's done that quite a few times, from my understanding, over the years. When you have let's say you have a student show up and, you strip all their gear away. What is like the first three things that you're going to focus on with that student, in this, because really it doesn't have to be a medical class or anything, because medical is survival. Survival is medical, right? You got to have it all the things if you're trying to survive. So we're saying survival wise, what would be like the top three things that you'd really want to drive? You got one day just to drive it into them. What would those three things be to get them not where they needed to be, but, to get them started?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I've thought about this a lot this past weekend, and then I had a couple of conversations after the fact as well. And it's taking and thinking outside the box. It is, okay, you don't have your kit now what, right? How would you do this? And trying to get them to change the mindset and try to flip the script on them, if you will, to think in a different fashion. One of the ways that we do that in a lot of the classes, and I did this past weekend, is, okay, you don't have this, now what? And the eyes were like, well, what do you mean now what? I took away the SAM splints as an example, and they're like, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, let me show you. And then they were, the thought was, wait a minute, hold on. You don't have to have a SAM splint? I went, I don't have to have a SAM splint. No. If you want to carry one, knock yourself out.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I don't have them. And that's the thing, is being able to utilize what you have. That's the second part. It's not just being able to think outside of the box, but it's, with what you have, can you use it? Do you know what you're doing when you have that gear, whatever that gear is? Right. And a lot of the people we see or I deal with, especially when it does bridge the gap between survival and preparedness overall, and then transfer it over into medical, is they've got all this gear. It's still in cellophane. They have no idea. And I can't tell you.
You're right.
I'm like, you want to take that off and you start from there?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That tourniquet that's still all wrapped up in plastic, and that's, and I get it. Like, we live in this world, it seems like, that is just everyone, hey, let's watch YouTube videos and we're good. That's kind of the world we live in. And, we live in that realm as well. It's part of the gig. But at the same time, it just seems like there's so much dangerous garbage out there that gets thrown out. And we are a consumer world, right? Everything is consumed. Oh, you got a problem? Buy this. You got another problem? Buy this, buy that. It's buy. Yeah. To where, I myself, growing up, living out in the sticks, like, we made equipment. Yeah. You need to hoist logs up on that wall. Well, we made our own winch system, and chop trees down and to get the job done. And in this day and age, it's just, let's just buy a piece of equipment. I think that's where we kind of went sideways, and why people have so much gear. And I do love gear, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, but yeah. you gotta test that gear as well.
Well, and we've always had this mindset of dirt time, and if you don't spend time in the woods, then you're never going to know what to do when you're in the woods, if that makes sense. Yes. And it's the same. It's the same in the, I'll say, civilian world, the street side, or however you want to look at it. At the hospital, we had a guy that would walk around. He was there for about 2 months. And I didn't realize it until then that he had, right?
Nailed it.
100%. I didn't realize that he had his tourniquet inside a pocket on his vest, and that's fine. But what I didn't realize until we went to utilize this tourniquet is it was still in the wrapper with the paper and the plastic around it and everything else. And I went, somebody find me a tourniquet now.
Right.
He's like,
I mean,
well,
what is that? It's only going to take you another 30 to 60 seconds to unwrap that. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, Bill?
Right. Yeah, no. Off-Grid Medic and I shared a video that was 19 seconds from the time the man's jugular got hit to the time.
Was that in the mall? Was that in the mall where the dude stabbed him in the neck?
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably
yeah, man.
Same video, yeah.
I think it's the same one. I watched the same one, and I was like, holy cow. Because this dude,
19.
bam, real quick, stuck him. And it was like some gangs or something. They were fighting there or whatever in the mall. And then, yeah, you're like 20 seconds. This dude walks forward, kind of stumbles a little bit, bam, done, out on the floor. And I was like, wow. So yeah, taking that plastic wrapper going to cause you a problem. Not that it would help you on that in the neck, but still in yet.
Well, I've tried it a couple of times.
Well, depending on if you like the person or not.
Great for silencing people. That's the way I'll leave.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, Bill, it's been a pleasure. We blew through this hour like it was nothing. We've got to get you down here to some of your kind of old stomping grounds to get to one of our events. We've got our, Mountain Readiness Spring Expo will be this next year, April the 30th through May the 2nd. So the first weekend of May, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we always have a blast with that. So it'd be cool to get you and Mark together, do some classes out there. And it's always a good time. We have a hell of a turnout and a lot of awesome people that come down. I know you can't make it this October because you're going to be busy, it sounds like, in Alaska. So yeah. I ain't gonna hate on you for that. I don't know though. In October in Alaska, it's probably still not horrible weather.
It's Alaska. That's the way.
It's Alaska. It could change at any given. Yeah, exactly. So tell everybody where they can find you, guys. Also, you can scan this QR code, but give everybody the rundown of where they can find you there on media.
So YouTube is probably the main spot you'll see me. X is x.com/isurvivalist. Facebook is facebook.com/isurvivalist. Instagram is instagram.com/isurvivalist. So the only one that is instinct survivalist is YouTube. Everything else is isurvivalist, all one word.
Awesome. And then where can people find you to sign up for classes that you do?
I have not posted any, so you may catch me on the Off-Grid Medic site. But right now, I don't have any that I'm working with Mark on. 2027, we're looking to have more here. We've got some things we've got to work through here before we get them posted.
Well, maybe we can get you down here if Mark does that class here at the Van Hoy Family Campground. I think he's looking at maybe November-ish. Something like that, or was it? It was either November. Get with Mark. Maybe it was like February of 2027, something like that.
Okay.
Man, I've slept since then. This mind is not the steel trap it used to be.
Well, it's steel trap, all right. It doesn't open to get anything.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, steel trap rusted shut. So, but once again, man, really appreciate you. Thank you for teaching those classes and filling in those classes that we needed to get filled. Everybody said it was awesome, and I can't wait to take some classes with you, hang out a little bit more. We'll have to do this again, but appreciate you, brother.
Hey, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks for everything you're doing. Let's just build community, bud. That's what it boils.
That is what it's about. So, guys, everybody out there in the chat, thanks for tuning in. You all are the ones that make this possible so we can keep doing these things. Remember to tune in next Monday. We'll have another guest. And you know the routine. Stay safe. Stay ready. We'll see you then.